And you have to know this because it's not set out clearly, but there are basically three reports here in this one report by El-Baradei.
Okay.
First one has to do with Iran's safeguards agreement. Okay?
All right.
That's the only thing that the Non-Proliferation Treaty concerns itself with, and that is, have any of the materials or activities that the IAEA has been monitoring been diverted to a military purpose? And the answer is an unequivocal no. The agency, I'll read this first line of the summary.
Sure.
The agency has been able to continue to verify the non-diversion of declared nuclear material in Iran.
Right, and that's what they always say, right.
But that's it. That should be it. You know?
Right.
End of report. Now, if you want some more detail about this, we'll provide it to you. But basically, the agency has been able to continue to verify the non-diversion of declared nuclear material in Iran.
Now, I have to say, that sounds pretty good, as though Baradei is even proving the negative. He's even saying not only can he find no indication that anything has been diverted, but he can verify that it hasn't.
That's right. That ought to be, so that's the end of the safeguards report. And therefore, the IAEA Board of Governors has nothing to report to the UN Security Council. The UN Security Council is not required to make a determination about whether or not there is a threat to peace in the region. Okay? That's the end of that. All right. Now, the second thing is El-Baradei, who got a Nobel Prize for what he did in Iraq, even though he wasn't able to stop the war, but he was able to report to the UN Security Council that he had not only verified that there were no materials in no prescribed materials in Iraq that could be diverted, but he said that he now had a comprehensive picture of the Iraqi nuclear program going all back 2 decades as a result of going into the files and interviewing this people and that people and verifying that the Iraqis had destroyed a lot of it, and that verifying that under their supervision, the Iraqis had destroyed the rest of it. And so by 1998, actually by 97, but 98, he was able to say, we've got a coherent picture which is consistent, and this is what it is about that program. And this was in 98, and it was repeated again in 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, and in 2003. Didn't do any good. Bush went in there anyway. Okay, he's been trying to do the same thing for Iran. The problem is, of course, is that the reason he was able to do that in Iraq was that he had a UN Security Council mandate to do it. This was in 1992. When the IAEA went in after the war, the first Gulf War, they discovered all this stuff, most of which had been destroyed in the war. And so they reported this to the Security Council, and the Security Council then imposed sanctions largely on Iraq because of what the IAEA reported that they had found. Mm-hmm. Okay? So in 1998, basically what El-Baradei said is, okay, you can list the sanctions now because there ain't nothing there. You know, they have complied. They've done everything they could to convince us that they don't have a nuclear weapons program and that they never intend to ever, in fact, don't even have a nuclear program at all.
Sure, and in fact, Condoleezza Rice and Colin Powell both affirmed that was the case in the spring of 2001 before 9/11. They both said that they don't have any weapons of mass destruction or any active programs. We have them in a box, etc., like that.
He has not developed any significant capability with respect to weapons of mass destruction. He is unable to project conventional power against his neighbors.
We are able to keep arms from him. His military forces have not been rebuilt.
And that, many believe, was the truth, a truth that was covered up and conveniently forgotten after September the 11th, when Bush and Blair decided to attack Iraq.
Yeah, but again, you have to realize that they already knew upon coming into office, or very shortly after coming into office, that nobody in this country much cared about anthrax or sweet smut or anything like that. The only thing that bothered Americans was nuclear weapons. And so
mushroom cloud.
So weapons of mass destruction became a code word for the Bush administration, and it meant nuclear weapons.
Right. Even though they could say that basically anything counts as a weapon of mass destruction. As prosecutors in this country have done already, charged people with, handgun violations as using a weapon of mass destruction.
Well,
it can mean anything, apparently.
I read the law one time, and I think that applies. I think legally that's true. There are all kinds of things that are in law in the United States that qualify as weapons of mass destruction. Well, anyway, I got a little off subject. The first thing was the report on the safeguards agreement. That was taken care of. Zippo. Nothing more there. But so El Baradei then went to the Iranians and said, look, I'm getting a lot of crap from Bolton and the rest of this crew. They tried to kick me out of office. They've done all these things. They're probably bugging my phone and all that sort of thing. It would really help me a lot if we could just, you're not required to do it, but how about let's have a little work plan here. And here are these concerns I have. There's 6 or 7 of them.
And these are all concerns passed down to him from the U.S.?
No, I don't. I think some of them were generated himself. One of them in particular was they found in the file. See, Iran agreed in 2003 to an additional protocol, which is not required by the Non-Proliferation Treaty, but Iran wanted to, be good guys and say, look, okay, we'll sign this additional protocol.
Go in the extra mile.
Yeah, and this will allow you to make snap inspections undeclared and do all kinds of. We will allow you, the IAEA, to try to get a picture of our entire nuclear program going back decades. And so they opened up their files and all this other kind of stuff to El Baradei, even though they weren't required to, because the Iranian parliament has never ratified this additional protocol.
Right.
Okay. So starting in 2004, El Baradei had almost as much access to Iranian files as he had in Iraq. And so off he goes. And one of the things he finds in there is this document. And it's a 15-page document. And part of the document in there is a sketchy a description or a set of procedures or something like that about how to cast uranium metal into hemispheres, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And El Baradei had seen all these reports. He says, well, what the hell is this? And they said, gee, I don't know.
Right.
Apparently it came with a whole bunch of stuff that we bought from, they didn't say Pakistan, but that was it, They had acquired all this stuff quite legally.
Okay, so what does the new IAEA report have to say about that?
Well, it says the one that we're talking about right now,
yeah.
This is one of the things in the work plan that El Baradei wanted to have cleared up. What it says is the Iranian says, well, it must have come in a package of stuff that we got from the Pakistanis. And
right.
We didn't even know it was there, about the forming of uranium into hemispheres. And we've never done it. We never tried to do it. And El Baradei reports in this report we're talking about that there's no indication that they ever did. There was any association with nuclear material, uranium, with this document.
I found
and then furthermore, he says, and by the way, I've queried the Pakistanis, and although they haven't admitted that they gave it to the Iranians, they have verified that they have an identical document in their files.
Right. That's footnote 24 in there. And, this is the same thing that's happened before, right, where they found some residue of highly enriched uranium, and they said, hey, where'd you get that? And the Iranians said, I don't know, must have come with the machine when we got it from Pakistan. And they asked the Pakistanis, and the Pakistanis said, yeah, that's right.